The number one question I get when someone finds out I've lost 100 pounds is, how'd you do it? Which really means, what did you eat? So in today's video, I'm wrapping up this series on how I lost 100 pounds at 50 years old by diving into the day-to-day basics of how I eat. And you might be surprised to hear there really is no difference in how I ate to lose 100 pounds and how I eat now to maintain that loss. In this series, I've talked about letting go of diets, addressing emotional eating, and taking care of your body. Now, I want to share the practical side of things, what I eat, how I plan, and the mindset that helps me maintain my weight loss without feeling deprived or like I'm on a perpetual diet. So here's what we're going to cover today. How I make a realistic daily food plan, and this is my secret weapon. My most of the time and some of the time approach to nutrition, and why nutrition doesn't have to feel restrictive or boring to be effective. So let's dive right in. Let's start with planning. Now, I know the idea of a food plan might sound like another set of rigid rules, but hear me out. For me, making a daily food plan isn't about control, it's about intention. It helps me approach my day with clarity instead of letting the decisions around food overwhelm me in the moment. And here's how I do it. Every morning, I take 5 minutes, and that's all it takes, to think about my day. I ask myself, what do I have going on today? How do I want to feel? And then I jot down a simple plan. And when I say simple, I mean simple. So for example, my plan might look like this. Breakfast, eggs and toast. Lunch, soup, sandwich, and some chips. Dinner, pasta with veggies, maybe a glass of wine. And snacks, I'm going to have some fruit with peanut butter or maybe a piece of chocolate later on. Now, notice that I included foods that I enjoy, like chocolate and wine and chips. It's right there in the plan. This way, I'm not feeling deprived or like I need to sneak those foods in later. The key is that the plan is realistic. It's not about eating perfectly, cutting things out, or weighing and measuring everything. It's about setting myself up for a day that feels satisfying and manageable. So then, when I'm hungry, I just eat what I planned. And it's that simple. So let's talk now a little bit about nutrition without restriction. For years, I thought good nutrition meant cutting out certain kinds of foods, like no carbs, no sugar, and that's just no fun. But that restrictive mindset kept me trapped in the cycle of binging and dieting. And when I stopped dieting, though, I knew I needed a different approach to nutrition, one that didn't rely on good and bad foods, rules, and restrictions. And here's what I learned. Your body needs a balance of nutrients to feel good, and it's entirely possible to give your body what it needs without feeling restricted. So I aim to include a variety of foods in my day. I always try to include a protein at every meal because that keeps me full and energized. And healthy fats are always included for flavor and satisfaction. You want to know a secret? You can eat full-fat ranch dressing and still lose weight. And then there's carbs. Yes, carbs. You need carbs for energy and frankly for joy. And of course, fruits and vegetables for fiber and nutrients. But I don't stress about hitting every target perfectly. Instead, I just focus on making meals that feel balanced most of the time. And that leads me to my third point. The most of the time, some of the time approach to eating. So let's talk about the mindset that made the biggest difference for me. And that is most of the time and some of the time. And that's how I approach eating. And here's what I mean. Most of the time, I choose foods that nourish my body and make me feel good, like the proteins, the fresh vegetables, whole grains, and healthy fats. Some of the time, I eat foods purely because I enjoy them, whether that's pizza, a donut, or a glass of wine. This balance is what makes my approach sustainable. It allows me to enjoy all kinds of food without guilt or obsession. So, for example, if I'm going out to dinner, I might choose to eat just a little bit of a lighter lunch so I feel good heading into that meal. But I'm not going to skip lunch altogether or skip dessert if that's what I want. It's about asking myself, what will feel good for my body and my soul today? So here's a few practical tips that's really helped me stick to this approach. Number one, listen to your hunger and fullness cues. This is something I had to relearn after years of dieting, and it's something I spend quite a bit of time with my clients on inside of the Weight Loss Your Way program. And what this basically means is that when I'm hungry, I eat, and when I'm full, I stop, even if there's still food on my plate or if whatever I'm eating just tastes so good. Since I'm allowing all foods into my diet and I know I'm going to be hungry again soon, I don't ever feel like I'm depriving myself. And number two, I plan for flexibility. Life happens, and sometimes my plan just goes completely out the window, and that's okay. If my day doesn't go as planned, I don't panic or punish myself. I just adjust and move on. This becomes easier to do when you realize you already have the two things you'll ever need to make better decisions when life throws you a curveball: your brain and your stomach. And number three, keep it simple. You don't need complicated recipes or fancy ingredients. I stick to foods that I enjoy and meals that are quick and easy to prepare. What I eat in a day might sound boring to some people, but it works for me. And I know that my way is the best way for me. And number four, make room for joy. Food isn't just fuel, it's also connection, tradition, and pleasure. I let myself enjoy the foods I love, whether it's a piece of birthday cake at a party or a favorite takeout on a Friday night. Diets and rules no longer ruin pumpkin pie for me at Thanksgiving or sugar cookies at Christmas, and that's a beautiful thing. So this way of eating works because it's not about perfection. It's about consistency. And when you're consistently eating nutritious foods most of the time, the sum of the time that you choose to eat less nutritiously doesn't carry as much weight as it did when you were dieting. When you let go of rigid rules and allow yourself to enjoy all foods, something amazing happens. Food stops feeling like a battle. You're no longer swinging between restriction and binging. Instead, you're finding balance. And when you approach food with balance, your body responds. You feel more energized, less obsessed, and more in tune with what your body needs. Balance creates a silent partnership with your body. You trust that your body will tell you what it needs, and your body is going to trust that you will take care of it. So if you've been stuck in this all or nothing mindset when it comes to food, I hope this video gives you a new perspective. And if you missed the earlier videos in the series, you can just click here to see the entire playlist. Now, my biggest tip is this. You don't need a perfect plan to lose weight or to feel good in your body. You just need a plan that works for you, one that's realistic, flexible, and leaves room for joy. If this video resonated with you, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear about your approach to eating or answer any questions that you might have. And if you're ready to dive deeper, I've created a free course that walks you through these ideas step by step. You'll find it in the link below. So thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next video.